on the entire album. Q comes in and it's just like fucking butter. It's like when Tom comes in on I Miss You. It's like Mark is great. It's fantastic. But dude, when Tom comes in, like panties drop. When Q comes in here, panties drop. Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and well, that's pretty much it. So let's go.
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different artist, a different album, and we break it down. We find out all the secrets about it, and then we let you all know those secrets. My name is Tyler, and way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. While you're listening, go to Apple Podcasts, go to Spotify, give us 5 stars. Please go do that. All the social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff is at Asinine Radio. We also have a Discord server if you want to join that. We'll send you the link. Just send us a message. We'll send you the link. You can go on there, harass us, talk shit, whatever you want to do. That's what everyone else does to us. Mm-hmm. We're gluttons for punishment. That's what we are. And we also have a phone number. If you want to call that, you can leave us a voicemail, send us a text. The phone number is 503-893-5307. So get into that. And now that all the boring intros are out of... Dude, this is tough already. Tough already. So now that all of the boring intros are out of the way, what album are we doing today, Jeff? Go.
We are doing Midnight Marauders by A Tribe Called Quest.
After that mess of an intro.
Wow.
Wow. What is your origin story with A Tribe Called Quest?
Go. The first song I heard was Can I Kick It? And at some point, and it was I think it was through camp, and I think it was through like one specific counselor I can remember. I always played like a lot of cool hip hop and stuff. So Can I Kick It was for sure the first Tribe song that I ever heard. And this was this was like I was probably like 7 or 8 years old. But I never like listened to it because at that point in time when we were that age, like gangster rap was becoming a big thing, and that's what I got really heavily into at the time. So I didn't come back to Tribe until like high school era, and that's when I came back and listened to People's Instinctive. And then it's like since then I've really liked this band, this group, this collective, I guess.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I go back. I've gone back to People's Instinctive and Marauders, but until this week, I've really never went back to the Low End Theory. And like I said in the rankings, that one surprised me the most. But I don't know. It's an easy transition to Tribe. I don't have like a crazy story or nothing. It's just I don't know. They've always just kind of been there.
Yeah. My origin story with them, I don't remember when I first heard Can I Kick It, but I know that was the first thing I ever heard. I'm pretty sure it was from like some MTV or VH1 doc back in like the early 2000s, maybe late 90s. And somebody was talking about A Tribe Called Quest, and I do remember that song very specifically. I remember the video as well. And that was my introduction to that, but I never really dove deeper into it. I thought it was a cool song, but anybody who's listened to the pod knows that, I was not much of a hip hop guy until I was into my adulthood, and up until maybe 10 years ago, I never really cared too much for hip hop. And, that was my introduction, and this week has been eye opening and very enjoyable. But yeah, that's my origin story. Not very eventful, and I don't really remember, but whatever. That's fine. I dig it now. That's all that matters. So
there you go.
So then let's go with our initial thoughts on this record, Midnight Marauders. Let's give any stinkers we have, which I doubt we have, or I doubt you have at least. And then we'll go with our biggest banger. Or no, we'll go with the song we already played, and then we'll get into our biggest banger. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. So then what do you got? Your initial thoughts? Go.
So I mean, I've listened to a lot of hip hop for a very, very long time, and Tribe is always that group that you kind of fall back on, because like Can I Kick It, Scenario, Segundo, all their biggest hits are just they're super easy. They're super easy to get into. But it wasn't until much, much later. Honestly, it wasn't until like David Bradley era where he introduced me to Jedi mind tricks and like some of the kind of conscious side of hip hop. Because until then, I was kind of just like through and through a gangster rap kid, and so he introduced me to like Jedi mind tricks when I first worked with him at fucking what's that, Fix Auto.
Fix Auto, yeah.
And that was like a game changer. Like, holy shit, dude! Like this is some like next level stuff. And so ever since, and that was like right out of high school. So like ever since then, I had gone back and started giving more listens to groups that I had normally kind of just tossed to the side as being fun and goofy and dumb. And Tribe was one of those groups. Tribe was one of those groups where I just thought like, oh yeah, Can I Kick It? That's just like, I know that's the Wild Side guy, because at the time I didn't really care for Lou Reed or anything. So I was like, oh, that's a fun track.
Wild Side guy.
The Wild Side guy. That's what it is. Like, come on, like this guy
Yeah,
over here
yeah, I
acting
know,
like
I
he fucking
know,
listened
I
to
know.
Lou Reed in high school or something. No, he listened
No,
to
because
Lou
I'm
Reed.
not an idiot.
Well,
I only listen to good music.
Well, Lou Reed is great, but
Well,
yeah.
not
So
really.
it wasn't until like Jedi Mind Tricks I really went back and listened to a lot of the other stuff and the conscious side of hip hop, and then that just like that. I think like right out of high school was when I really started to pay attention to the nuance in hip hop. High school, I was for sure like a gangster rap kid, and I listened to other hip hop also, but my focus was mainly on like the gangster rap side of it. And it wasn't until, like I said, David Bradley turned me on to it, right? Started going back and really getting into, I don't know, like hip hop and digging into it deeper and thinking that there's a lot more layers to it than I had initially thought. And it's just ever since then, I've just been entranced. I think it's just such a cool developing genre of music. And I think like another reason why I like it so much is because we are seeing it develop in like real time. Whereas I talked about this before, whereas rock has been developing for decades prior to us even being born. Hip hop is a genre that we are living through its development. And I think that kind of gives it more credence. Like people talk about how like the 60s were so great and the 70s were so great because they saw these bands play as they were forming. And when rock music was still kind of forming and there were things happening in the 60s and 70s that our parents grew up listening to, witnessing, living through, that's why the nostalgia is so high. With hip hop, we are living through it still to this day. Now we are living through the development of hip hop, and I don't think that this era of hip hop is the best, but I definitely don't think it's like the worst. I think it's just something different. It's something unique. So I don't know what your question was, but
It was your initial thoughts on Midnight.
Oh yeah, Midnight Marauders. This is yeah,
It's fine,
I mean,
though. It's fine.
this is like their most popular album, really, outside of just like the two big singles from their first album. This is like their most popular. This is widely hailed as like one of the best that they've done and just one of the best hip hop albums of all time. And it deserves all of the credit because it's so fucking good. It's stupid good. And it kind of takes from both of the first albums and puts them together and creates like an even better mashup of their first two albums and creates something just unique in its own. And again, like something that's greater than the sum of its parts, much like Fife and Q-Tip coming together. But like the Tribe are just, there's so much more to Tribe than just like Q-Tip and Fife. That there's other members of the band. There's the fact that they belong to like the native tongues. There's a Jungle Brother influence, De La Soul influence. There's so many other things that make Tribe so great. But on their own, like nothing about this group is that great. Is that like crazy, mind-blowingly great? It's just when they come together. And like everything they did for hip hop too is just I don't even know where to start. There's a lot of stuff I don't know.
Have you listened to Q-Tip and Fife Dog's solo records?
No, never.
No, I haven't either. But I'm curious how, especially Fife Dog, I'm curious how different his solo records are because, I mean, really, Tribe is, the production is all Q-Tip. It's all him on the first three records. So I'm really, really interested in hearing Fife on that. Outside of Tribe.
I don't have it's sad I don't have any interest in hearing Q-Tips just because I mean even Fife had called them out for kind of selling out, becoming pop, becoming mainstream hip hop. And so I've like zero interest in hearing Q-Tips, but I also don't have any interest in hearing Fife because even though he is my favorite of the two, I just I don't know. I don't care all that much. I don't know. I really don't care all that much.
Yeah, I didn't really care to listen to more of that. I mean, I was surprised at how little even was written about Q-Tip. I mean, considering how much of a pioneer he was in hip hop, there's not as nearly as much as I thought would be written about him. Very surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, he's worked with so many huge artists, during and since Tribe. So I don't know, whatever. I mean, my initial thoughts, I personally have no stinkers. This is the first full length Tribe album I've ever heard. And it was I'd only ever heard it in its entirety since we started collecting vinyl. And I've listened. I've surprisingly have listened to this record a lot since I got it. I've just been kind of hooked on it, and it's an album that you can either really dive deep into and kind of pick apart everything, or it's also a very good album to just kind of have on in the background. It offers both things, which a lot of records don't do. It's very diverse in that sense, and I totally dig it. I think it's a killer fucking record, and I'm stoked that I really kind of discovered their first two records this week because I thought they were fantastic. Like we were talking about in the rankings, the first three records are just untouchable, absolutely untouchable. It's great. So you have no stinkers, right?
No.
Okay. So let's get into to the song we already played. We're gonna have a hard time saying this one. It's called Award Tour. It's a.
Sounds
I wonder if that was
fucking
intentional. Was that? I wonder if that was intentional naming it that. I don't know. But so let's start with this. This is the first single. That's kind of why we played it in the beginning as well. Where does this sit for you on the banger list, or if it even is a banger?
I mean, this better be a banger on your banger list, but this is my 2B.
Okay, this is my 7B.
Oh, God. Here we go. There we go.
It's really good. What do you got on this song?
Never cease to amaze me, ever. It's just, I don't know. What do you want me to do here? He's the main sample. You want to do samples? You want to do just overall thoughts?
Wherever you want to start.
Lyrics?
This is your pod. Usually we do lyrics last, but whatever you want to do.
Yeah, the main sample, I guess, is this dude named Weldon Irvine, who I've never heard of before. But the song is We Getting Down. So, but then like you click on his little link, and he's been around. He was a composer in the 60s and onward, heavily invested in the civil rights movements, and then ended up mentoring like Q-Tip and even Mos Def. And then later on, throw down keyboards on the Black Star album with Talib Kweli and Mos Def, which is a fucking perfect album also in the hip-hop realm. So that was cool. That was cool to see that this guy that I've never heard of before was like a mentor and then still continued to be relevant in hip-hop all the way until Black Star came out.
Mm-hmm.
Which Black Star is another album that we got to do in the pod at some point.
I know. I do want to do it. The songs I've heard I've really liked, but I haven't listened to it in its entirety.
Oof,
but I know
God
I should.
Damn,
I know
it's
I should.
good.
I know. But I'm late to the game on hip hop. So
yeah, I mean, that's fine. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, that's what I got for that guy. I think this is a perfect balance of vocals here. The chorus features the dude from De La Soul, the Dove, or Trugoy the Dove.
Yeah.
From De La Soul, and it's just I think it's De La Soul is another group that everybody knows the name, but not many people know like the music, and same with like the Jungle Brothers, but not quite to the extent. Like the Jungle Brothers is another group that like you kind of know the name, you've heard that name thrown around before, but you know the music. You listen to Jungle Brothers, you listen to De La Soul, it is fucking perfection. Both groups are amazing, and the Word Tour it features the guy from De La Soul. Love this melody. I think it's a perfect chorus. I think it's a great balance. I think it's a great blend of everybody coming together. Perfect song.
It is truly an amazing song, and this week made me want to get more into De La Soul. I mean, I've always known about them, but I'm not familiar with their music. Or maybe I am. I just don't know. And,
you do, yeah, for sure. You know, you probably know a lot more than you think you do about De La Soul.
It's very, very possible. And I'm like in this hip hop mood. Like I want to find out. I want to know more about hip hop from this era, but then also reading more about the what was it called, the collective that they had,
Native Tongues.
Native Tongues. Yeah, like. I had no idea Queen Latifah was a part of that too. Like,
I mean,
fuck?
So to be fair, we've talked about the Native Tongues many times before on the pod.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But that's all right. But yeah, it was just Jungle Brothers, De La Soul, and Tribe wouldn't even like almost exist because Fife and Q-Tip were on Jungle Brothers and De La Soul songs prior to Tribe even forming. So it's kind of like Jungle Brothers and De La Soul were the reason that Tribe even kind of got the confidence to form their own group. And that first Jungle Brothers album, and I bought it at Grace. I know Grace, or not Grace, at Nichols. I know Nichols still has a new copy of it, but fuck, man, that Straight Out the Jungle by the Jungle Brothers, holy shit, that is such a good album.
How much is it at Nichols?
It's like $25. I think I bought mine brand new too because I've never seen it used, and that is well worth $25. You will fucking love it because that's late '80s. That's your era. Yeah, that's the golden age of hip hop. Yeah. That is late '80s.
Golden age is my. That's where I
several
love that shit.
Several years before Tribe came out, and that's where Q-Tip like got his start. Really, is the Jungle Brothers on the first album.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. I'm down for this. And like we've talked about in the past, like with vinyl, dude, we're never gonna find used hip hop unless it's like, Gigolo Tony or some artist we've never heard of.
Yeah.
None of the big stuff we're ever gonna find used.
No,
so
it's never gonna happen.
I'll give it a shot on Spotify before I actually pull the trigger when I'm out there in a couple weeks, but
ooh,
I might just get it.
You will.
I don't know.
I know if you listen on Spotify, you'll get it. Just listen to the first song. You'll fucking get it. I guarantee you.
I'll listen to the first 2 songs and I'll make the decision.
You don't need 2 songs. You need 1 song. I'm telling you.
Oh, I'll give it 2.
Okay.
All right. So what I really like about this song too, like sampling wise, the vibraphone. The vibraphone, I mean, it gets me every time.
I know.
Like, I cannot believe how much of a sucker I am for this stupid fucking instrument. No matter what genre, if you have a vibraphone in it, I'm gonna instantly like it. I love it.
And now that you like cognizant of it, it's gonna come out more and more in music. And just because you like it so much, I hear it more often in music that I listen to. I was like, oh, there's that fucking vibraphone again.
But it sounds great.
I mean, it's there. It serves a purpose. Yeah, I guess.
But it adds so much like, just not depth necessarily, but just like a cool vibe. Well, it's a vibe.
I mean, that's
a cool vibe to it.
That's the best way to describe it. Is cool.
Yeah. It's an instrument that has never sounded bad in any song. Name one song. Name a dud.
I know. Even our stupid fucking songs that we wrote, I did a little vibraphone thing and it sounded so cool.
It's fucking so cool, man. I also like, I mean, they do it in more than just this song, but in this one in particular, they do the way that Q-Tip utilizes the loops with the sampling. He doesn't always just use the loop throughout the entirety of a song, or even just like within a verse or a chorus or anything. Like he'll stop the loop and then have there be like a break, like a silent break, or just like add like a little jazz little thing in the background and then come back into that loop or whatever it is, a Rhodes piano or vibraphone, whatever, guitar. And I think that's genius. Like it adds so much more depth to the actual songs that a lot of hip hop misses out on. I mean, especially I think in the last 20 years. It's just
it's very, I don't know, it's very like honest, I feel, because using a loop from an already recorded source and you're just looping it, and if you do it well enough, you don't know where it begins and where it ends, the point of the loop. But when you deliberately end the loop, or I should say, when you deliberately make the listener aware of where you started and ended the loop, it's like ballsy. It's putting yourself out there, and like you got to be on your game, rap wise, lyric wise, to make that silence not awkward and bad. And Q-Tip
True.
does it a lot. He stops that loop. He says, hey, we're using this 4-second loop, and there'll be a pause, like just a millisecond pause until he loops it again. But that millisecond, I mean, that silence is deafening. And it's ballsy, man. It's like, God damn, you got to have so much confidence in yourself to be able to not just continuously loop it where it's seamless. Because that's what we know. That's what we think of loops to be. It's just a seamless transition from beginning to end where we don't know where it begins and we don't know where it ends.
Yeah.
Damn. That's...
So you're talking about also like the drum loops too, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Because like when there is that silence and then they all come in on that beat, or whoever, Q-Tip or Fife, they come in on that beat, on that initial bass drum back into the loop. Oh my God, dude. It's so subtle, but it adds so much like nuance and just, I don't know, just gravity to the song. I don't even know like the right term to use. It's, dude,
they've been
he's
doing
a fantastic producer.
They've been doing it since day one too. Even in the song "Can I Kick It," there's like a line that Fife says. He says like a life filled with, and then it's like a bang noise is what I'm about or whatever. And it's like to stop rapping and then insert a noise and have the entire beat stop, but still kind of keep the flow. It takes skill. It takes skill. And it's not even that great. It's not like the best time I've ever heard it being used, but they do it over and over and over so consistently that it becomes like who they are, because they're not afraid to do anything.
But when you think about it too, this is 1993. This is before Pro Tools. This is before digital music making, or digital production, I guess you could say. So they were literally recording straight from a vinyl 12-inch record, or maybe a full length, I don't know, whatever, directly to a tape, and then splicing that tape to make it just fit and keep in time. And just the how meticulous he had to have been to create some of these loops and create these songs must have been like mind-numbing. Like I can't even imagine just and just how much trial and error, like thinking like, okay, this beat's going to sound good. Let's record this beat on tape and then splice it on here and this and that. And then he plays it through and it's like, okay, that doesn't sound as good as I thought it was going to be. Let's start over. Yeah. And then you have to fucking start over on tape. I mean, not only is that time consuming, but it's costly too, because they're literally using fucking analog tape. Oy.
And I think like now that we collect records and now we're like knee deep into this vinyl shit, this era of hip hop and this era of music making, it clicks harder, because not just like the production wise and the recording part of this, but the digging that they had to do, that Fife did, that Q-Tip did, that Mr. Muhammad did, that everybody was digging to find a group like the Albino Gorilla. I don't know what the fuck Albino Gorilla is, but they found out this group named Albino Gorilla released one album.
That's a cool fucking name though.
Dude, it's a fucking dope artwork and it's a dope song. But yeah, it was
different. Even look it up, but I remember seeing the name.
It was a different song on this album that we'll talk about later. But yeah, like just to be somewhere digging through old ass vinyl, and at the time in the 90s where vinyl was probably damn near worthless, but to be at a record store where they're selling CDs on the front and in the back, like that's where they have all their vinyl. Oh yeah, we got crates of vinyl back there if you want to dig through them. And then just flipping through with like your boys or whatever. And like, oh, dude, this looks fucking dope. Albino Gorilla, this is cool. What do you think this is? I don't know. Like, who was on it? Who produced it? Where was it recorded? Just knowing about music enough to trust that there's going to be something on here that you like. And then listening to it. Because they had to listen to the entire album to get that one drum beat from it. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much work.
Unless it was like a 7-inch or something.
Unless it was a single. And even so, now we're buying... Fuck, man. Now we're thinking of like every song that we've ever heard. What part of that song do you like the most? I like the drum beat from this one. I like the bass part for this. I like the guitar part for this. But like thinking about how to build a song around that, or having lyrics ready and say, I have Can I Kick It lyrics ready to go. Like, what would be really cool to put under that? Like, oh, fucking Lou Reed, Take a Walk on the Wild Side. Like, what? Just to be so well versed in music is just it's impressive. And that's why hip hop, I think, is just it's so hip hop is so underrated of this era. Even though I think 80s hip hop is whatever's at best. I think it was just so underrated, and I love it so much because of all of these things that go into it. And it just gets shit on so much because it's like, oh, and just people fucking throwing out bad words and rapping. And I'm paraphrasing old people. That's how they talk.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just people throwing out rap or bad words and talking. It's not real music. They're not playing any instruments. Like, but they're putting in more work than like actual musicians are.
Yeah, it's way more calculated than anything.
Like, my God.
And then I think I think it was after the Love Movement record. I could be mistaken with the timeline, but after that record came, or right before that record came out, I guess Q-Tip's house had burned down, and he lost like 20,000 vinyl records. Like his entire collection was gone.
Yep.
And the computers at the time that he had like unreleased music on, everything was gone. 20,000 vinyl records gone. That's it. That's it. That's all. And then he was so like disheartened by it to where like he actually went and took drum lessons, and he took lessons in different styles of music and everything to kind of make up for what he lost in the fire with all those records. Because I mean that's an enormous collection, first of all, but an enormous collection of just making actual music, not just listening to it, but literally creating music from all that shit. And you have to start from scratch after 20 years. It's fucking nuts.
It's absolutely fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
And like some of the greats in hip hop, I think, are better musicians ear wise than some of the greats in like rock history. Like some of the like you can hold Q-Tip next to like Jimmy Page as far as having an ear for just music, and they are like equals in that respect. Like obviously Q doesn't play instruments as well as Jimmy Page does, obviously, but it's just like an ear for just hearing music and saying that's a fucking dope beat.
Hearing
that's
pop
a great
sensibility.
Drum. Yes. Yeah. Like that's some of these hip hoppers are up there with the rock gods, but they're never like talked about in that respect, and that bothers me.
And when you think about it, like what you said, that comparison between Q-Tip and Jimmy Page, it could be made with Dr. Dre and Jimmy Page, or Kanye and Jimmy
Page,
or LP and Jimmy Page. Because when you really think about Led Zeppelin, I mean, we all know the first record, especially Led Zeppelin record, are covers, but it's their rendition of a cover. It's no different than covering another person's song.
Absolutely,
it really is
exactly,
because it's your own rendition. You're just doing it in a different way, but it's the same exact thing. So people who ever, like older generations or whoever like argue that, you know, hip hop is not nearly as good as, say, Led Zeppelin or Rolling Stones or whoever, you know, that's just silly boy talk. Because the amount of effort that went into it is so much more. I think it's actually more.
It is more, for sure. It is more. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's usually one guy rather than 4 or 5 guys covering one song.
It's an antiquated, linear way of thinking about music, and I think like, I mean, I'm not a classical guy by any means, whatever, but I think just like the people in the past that have pushed music to be better and more abstract and just more personal. Like if you probably talk to them, if you talk to like Beethoven, when he's writing like some of his best, he was probably a guy that was very progressive thinking. He was probably a guy that thought very, very differently than everybody else was thinking, and that's why he's making music that is so iconic to today. Like music is meant to be abstract and not linear, and that's why some of the greatest musicians of all time are people that have just gone their own way and done their own thing.
Mind you, us talking about classical music is very much based in ignorance because we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. But I get I totally understand what you're saying.
Sure. I love hip hop. I love all hip hop. I also love today's hip hop. I think it's an ever changing, forming genre, and I'm super happy that we're in the middle of it. I'm happy that we're old enough now to kind of like see the forming of a new generation of hip hop. That's really cool.
No, I get it. I understand. But it's just still very difficult for me to.
Well, there's a lot of bad stuff out there.
There's
a lot of bad stuff.
It's almost like 95% bad, 5% good.
And it's not even like bad. It's like really bad. Like there's some shit out there that's like really fucking bad.
Like you gotta really fucking dig. But that might also be, you know, a product of the internet. The fact that everything is there, everything we can literally look for anything, and we're gonna find it.
Yeah.
But oh man, yeah, there's some garbage shit, and I don't trap music, man. I just don't. It's terrible. I just don't get it, man.
It's not all bad.
For the most part, it is.
I mean, okay.
I don't know. So, back to award tour. Let's wrap this one up.
Yeah.
We still got it.
Sure. A
Whole
lot of
record to go
stuff here.
So what do you got lyrically on this one?
So a couple things here. I like how Fife says that he's Dynamut.
Yeah,
Which
I remember that line.
I don't know who fucking Dynamut is. I guess it was a cartoon in the 90s or something, or in the 80s probably, actually. But it's kind of a cool play on words, like his Fife dog, and he's saying like I'm Dynamut, like he's saying he's a dog, but like Dynamut was a superhero dog, like Hong Kong Phooey type of thing.
Wasn't from Jetsons, right?
Dynamut?
No, maybe it wasn't from Jetsons. I don't know.
I've never seen this cartoon. I've looked at a picture of it. I've never seen this cartoon before.
Oh,
But it reminded me of like Hong
it
Kong
was.
Phooey. And Hong Kong Phooey is like a superhero dog. And I think it's cool that Five Dog is embracing like the dog moniker, but then also saying that he's better than that. And then also, dude, I always love a good baseball reference. Anytime I can plug baseball, because even more so now than ever in my life, we need baseball. It might not come back. But
Ever again.
it's quite possible that if this could kill baseball forever. And honestly, it saddens me. Like a life without baseball to me is honestly, like no joke. It is very sad and depressing for me because it's.
I know you're a big baseball guy,
dude. It's a part of my life for sure. But he mentions Braves and the Yanks, dude. Great teams in the '90s. The '98 Yankees were arguably one of the greatest baseball teams that has ever lived, and so for him to say that he's better than the '90s Braves and Yankees, and both from different leagues too. So he's essentially he is saying that he's better than all of baseball. He has more hits than all of baseball. That's cool. And he's been going back and forth from Atlanta to New York at the time, flying. I think that was solid. That was cool. I like it.
It was a cool reference, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for like one line. It
Yeah,
means so much.
throwaway
Like
line.
one line means so much. Yeah.
That's-
So the Dynamut. So I thought it was Jetsons, but obviously it's not. It's with another character called Blue Falcon, and then Blue Falcon is the character from. You ever watch Harvey Birdman?
Mm-mm. I mean, I've seen
ever watch
Harvey
that
Birdman.
cartoon show?
Yes,
Yeah,
Well,
he was one of
I've
the
only
characters
actually-
on that.
I've watched Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Was there a Harvey Birdman before that?
yeah. All those characters on that show were all the big characters were all from They're all Hanna-Barbera characters. But yeah, Blue Falcon was on that show, and he played like the sophisticated lawyer and shit like that.
Blue Falcon. That's
Yeah,
what like
very stupid.
that's what you call like like in the academy. We would call people Blue Falcons who would be like raise their hand, like, oh, teacher, you didn't sign homework today. Like that's a Blue Falcon, a BF, a buddy fucker, because he just like fucked everybody for saying some stupid ass shit. That's what you call a Blue Falcon. And it's funny.
Oh god, Hanna-Barbera was like the bootleg superheroes for like DC and Marvel.
But like Hanna-Barbera they had some legit shows.
No, they
though.
did. Yeah, oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But superhero wise, yeah, it was the bootleg of superheroes.
Ain't nobody watch Hanna-Barbera for fucking the superhero stuff, dude. Flintstones and Jetsons is all you need. Remember when the Flintstones? I feel like
Yogi
we
Bear,
talked
too.
about Flintstone when the Flintstones met the Jetsons.
Wait, was that was
I feel
just
like-
a cartoon? Yeah.
But like they had a spin-off where there was like the Jetsons meet the Flintstones, and they're
Yeah,
in
there
the same
was a
universe
spin-off.
on the same timeline. But I feel like we talked about this like a month ago.
No, we didn't talk about it on the pod.
But like the Jetsons exist at the same time as the Flintstones.
There
Like,
was
you think-
there was there was a crossover. There
I know,
definitely was a
I
crossover.
know there was a crossover. It was a fucking fantastic crossover. But I swear that we talked about this like a month ago.
No, we didn't talk about it.
Fuck.
We definitely didn't talk about it
Okay.
because it's such a weird thing to even talk about. I mean, I would definitely remember that.
I love Hanna-Barbera.
Anyway, we should even talk about lyrics on this. Do you want to talk about lyrics, or do you want to move on?
Oh, I mean, it just seemed like they were just super happy and excited to be famous and popular. And this is kind of like their self-hype song, just kind of giving credit to themselves for working so hard. That's what I got, really.
Yeah, that's what I got too. It's like it's them saying like we're better than everybody else, all around the world. We're the best, and now we just want to go home and relax. We've taken 2 years to like build ourselves up and do all that, but now we just kind of have to take a break, and that's what this is. But we're still on top. That's what I got on this one.
Yeah.
All right, so with that
was your 7B, huh?
That was my 7B. Yeah. So what's your 1B?
Shit, you better have some. Your 1B better be really good, pretty good. My 1B is "We Can Get Down."
Okay, really?
We Can Get Down.
That's one of the later tracks. No, it's not. No, that's my 6B.
Dude,
We Can Get Down to my 6B.
What is your fucking 1B? It's probably the opening. It's probably fucking Midnight Marauders tour guide. That's probably your 1B.
Yeah, the intro. Yeah. So what do you got on this one?
We can get so like musically. What are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing at because you're just so mad. I don't know why.
Because I don't know what your one. Come on, dude, this song was fucking beautiful. This is amazing.
You were gonna say beautiful.
It is beautiful. It's fantastic. Dude,
that's not a word you throw around often on the pod.
Beautiful. Because nothing is beautiful except for my dog Phoenix. She's beautiful.
Oh, she's such a lady. Such a lady.
The only one of my 4 dogs that I like. The other 3 are fucking worthless. Leave the door open. Hope they run away. Worthless dogs. Dude, We Can Get Down, dude. Solid drum beat. It's super heavy. It sounds deep. Fife and Q are just absolute perfect here. They are pieces to each other. Like they are just like the yin and yang. This is like, I think this is their best on this album. This is the best time that they kind of like play off each other. And my favorite part of this is Fife, but like when Q comes in, I think it's the smoothest and nicest on the entire album. Q comes in and it's just like fucking butter. It's like when Tom comes in on I Miss You. It's like Mark is great. It's fantastic. But dude, when Tom comes in, like panties drop. When Q comes in here, panties drop. Like,
but I feel like that's most of the songs on this. That's like all the songs on this record.
No, because Fife is not just a hype man for Q. Fife is his own thing. Mark is a hype man for Tom most of the time, realistically, because Tom's he is. That's fine though. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Flavor Flav's a hype man for Chuck D, but without Flav, Chuck D wouldn't be as powerful. Not a big deal. It's fine.
Okay, all right.
But Fife here, dude, Fife is on fire. My favorite line from this song here is "Crushing competition like Italians on grapes."
Oh, I like that one too.
Dude, come on! Like, are you kidding me with this? It is so fucking funny. A lot of the lyrics here too are kind of, they didn't age that well. He says some things over the course of the album that didn't age very well. But goddamn, crushing competition like Italians on grapes. I lost it. I fucking lost it. I laughed. I thought it was so good. I threw my hands up like I'm like shooing somebody down. Like, oh damn, God, that was so good. Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
love it.
Well, I mean, even the 2 lines before it, too many candy wrappers seem to be at the top. Too much candy is no good. So now I'm closing the shop, and then crushing competition like Italians on grapes.
Dude, closing shop. Like I'm done with it. I'm done with these other bullshit rappers. And this is
these pop rappers, bubblegum pop rappers.
And that's why this song is so great, is because Fife talks a lot about like doing the hip hop thing just because he enjoys it rather than for like a paycheck or a job. And like we will see that later on when he loses interest in Tribe Called Quest, is he doesn't like the fact that he goes to work. He doesn't like going to the studio and feeling like it's a job. Like he's doing this for a paycheck. He wants to do it because he loves it. And that's kind of like where the disconnect happened between Fife and like Q. And also like when Fife says, "How can a reverend preach when a rev can't define the music of our youth from 1979?" But the idea, or like playing to the notion that like, how can you preach something to someone without ever being in that person's shoes or experiencing it? And the biggest thing that comes to my mind, which is a topic that I've talked about before, and it makes sense, but like therapy, when especially like troops coming home and seeking help from therapists, but they're seeking help from therapists that have never been in war or never seen battle or never enlisted. So how can you really help somebody without actually ever being in their shoes, because it just seems like disingenuous at that point. The person you're trying to help doesn't quite trust you because they don't believe that you have ever really experienced what they're going through. And I think it's like a throwaway line that he just rails through real quick, but it kind of goes into like the native tongues. It kind of goes into like the black community of the early 90s and a lot of other concepts that they will talk about on this album before and after. It's good.
Mm-hmm. It is. It really is. And kind of going back to what you were saying about the making of records from this group. After this, there was that kind of disconnect between Q and Fife Dog, because it wasn't as fun. But when you look at the making of this record, they wrote this record in Fife Dog's grandma's basement in New York. Like, they set up shop there, and that's where they did everything, but then recorded elsewhere. But everything was done like kind of just relaxed, in a very relaxed mood. They had Jerobi come down and just like tell jokes and just chill and smoke and do whatever, And then obviously that was lost after this record. And then if you read like the little bit of the backstory on the last record, they kind of Q-Tip and Fife Dog kind of went back to that old style where they recorded the last record kind of in secret. Nobody knew that they were recording anything, and they were Fife was going over to Q-Tip's place, his studio, and they would just like, Fife Dog would just watch TV and just kind of say, yeah, that sounds good. Or it was just very kind of just hanging out rather than making music, or just kind of making it seem like a job. And that's honestly where he shines. And I feel like his lyrics kind of show that, because they're serious, but they're I guess coded in like in humor. And I like that a lot. He acts more like a battle rapper than Q-Tip does, who's much more subtle in what he's trying to portray. And I love it.
If you had to like pick which is your favorite between the two, who would you pick? I
think Fife has better lyrics and better delivery. Well, not delivery, but better. I say he has better lyrics, but I like Q-Tip's delivery better. I like how smooth Q is. I love that smoothness. But Fife has that he has that sharp delivery where it's a little bit more aggressive, but it's not like he's attacking you. It's more of just like in a, I guess, self-deprecating kind of way. Because he does make fun of himself, but he also like says like, I know I'm better than you, and this is why. Like it's that confidence.
That's like exactly how I would describe him too. Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's not necessarily arrogance; it's straight up confidence.
It's like it's so beyond arrogance that he doesn't even care anymore. He's happy making fun of himself constantly because he legit believes and knows that he is better than everybody else. So good. It
is. It's fantastic. So let's play a little bit of this song of "We Can Get Down," and then we'll get into I guess a little bit more of the lyrics, and then we'll go from there. So here it is, "We Can Get Down" from A Tribe Called Quest. There you go, "We Can Get Down" from A Tribe Called Quest. So I mean, we touched upon, already a bit of the lyrics, just how they're talking about they're on top of their game, and they're just kind of sick of the bubblegum pop. It's really what it is. They don't believe in that shit, which I like.
And also, so Fife also mentions that not all rappers are about the negativity, and that's like this is the height of like the East Coast versus West Coast feud, and Tribe is staying true to their origins, and I like that I truly believe this is a very, very subtle dig at the kind of formulaic, style of gangster rap. Really. Yeah. And I mean, this is an explosion of gangster rap in the 90s, and a lot of it is good, but we only know that a lot of it is good because all the stuff that we haven't heard is actually really, really bad. And it's just formulaic and dumb and trash. And I like that he kind of calls out in a very, very subtle way, because he can get fucking killed. Suge Knight's going to kill you. So you can't like straight up say that the gangster rap scene is dumb and formulaic and boring, but he kind of says it here.
Yeah. But then, and I forgot what song it is right now, but there's another song where they kind of shout out everybody. You know, East Coast, West Coast, you know, Dr. Luke down in Florida, you know, some of the guys in Georgia. Like, they throw out, like, respect to other rappers in other regions, which I think is so cool.
Let's clap
So
your hands.
fucking cool.
He's throwing fucking
clap your hands?
everybody.
Yeah.
He's throwing out everybody.
Yeah, it's really, really good. But okay, so in this particular song, We Can Get Down, that what is that sample that he uses, that down, it's just that.
Oh wow, that was pretty good.
No, but I don't even know what kind of what instrument is it? Is it just like a keyboard?
I would assume it's all just some type of synth sound.
But it's a sample. I don't know if it's Billy Squier or what, because it says that they sampled like Eric B and Rakim, Billy Squier, and
Bill
some other
Cosby.
things too.
I don't.
Yeah, Bill Cosby.
I never heard
I
the
didn't
Bill
hear the
Cosby
Bill
thing. I assume that that would be Billy Squier, because the Eric B and Rakim thing was later on. But Billy Squier would make sense because, you know, he's like a rock musician and he did like rock stuff. But
Yeah.
I don't know, like fucking boring too, like just boring music.
But they use it so well in this song.
I know. Well, they also use another sample in a different song too by another boring musician, I think. But yeah, I don't. That's again, like you're giving life to. I mean, who the fuck am I, right? But you're giving life to a really, really boring musician, and Billy Squier, and then Bob James later on. My God, just boring, boring fucking music. So I think that's really cool, and especially too because like Billy Squier, I've had his albums that I've sold, and he just does not sell. Like nobody wants his shit. And in a couple of his albums, he's like he was big in like the 80s, I think, and then maybe into the early 90s.
70s too. 70s as well.
But maybe he had like a band or something in the 70s, but for sure, like the 80s, he was like really big in the 80s. Am I really big?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he was that big. I just think, I don't know. But
He was big. He was big.
To be well read of 80s boring rock and then using that into your hip hop, I think again is just showcasing how much effort is put into this. You know what I mean? Like how much effort is going on into putting together these hip hop songs.
Oh man, it's really good stuff.
What is your 1B? Yeah, this is my 1B. This is this song is amazing. Dumb.
My 1B is Clap Your Hands.
Of course it is. You little cuck.
Why? What do you mean? Of course it is.
That's all right. No, Clap Your Hands is good. That's my 8B. That's fine.
No, is it really?
It is my 8B. Yeah.
But why?
I mean, because I have 7 other songs I think are better. That's.
Why was this so low? I don't get it.
I mean, I don't know. It's funny though because I just said like the other person, the Bob James, the guy just he's a smooth jazz / fusion jazz pop shit. It's just fucking trash music. God, I fucking hate this guy, Bob James.
Okay, but this song is fantastic.
I know, and that's what's so bizarre is because that song Nautilus that is sampled here in the beginning, it's been sampled by so many fucking other hip hoppers like EPMD, Slick Rick, Public Enemy, Run DMC, like all of these early people in hip hop sampled this guy, and I don't understand it because his music is so fucking boring. And I've come across, I actually still have a lot of his albums in my to sell pile. Not this one though, because I looked, but I do have a lot of Bob James that I'm trying to sell. And it's trash. It's just fucking garbage.
Absolute trash.
Which again is just a testament to how great these diggers are, because really, one man's trash is another man's treasure. That's perfect here because Bob James is just dumb music, but they've taken it and flipped it and made a fucking killer song out of it.
I mean, just the scratching of the hook, the clap your hands. It's so classic of this era. I mean, it's the perfect amount of scratching to where it's not obnoxious, and it just adds to the hook so fucking well. And then Fife and Q each have their own extended verses, super fucking long, a lot of words, but they're telling stories, and I like it. That's kind of the genius behind, I feel like, the golden age of hip hop. It's you're telling it's a narrative. There's a ton of rhyming in this, but in a lot of old school hip hop, there wasn't a ton of rhyming. It was more just like a monologue almost.
Yeah, you don't need a rhyme. Sure, it's. I mean, that's a good way to put like not just the golden age of hip hop, but just hip hop in general is a telling of a story. And I mean, that's that's how blues music is essentially started, from spirituals and folklore and early countries. You're telling a story of whatever you want to tell, and it's just put to a beat. And I think that like at its core, really, really good hip hop is just a really good telling of a story. And yeah, clap your hands. Not like the best story, but just throwing out a bunch of names. But I do like how Fife name drops like everyone imaginable that he loves or admires, but also makes a point to say that if he was a solo artist, he would be his own favorite rapper.
Yeah, he does say
so good. It's so fucking stupid. I love it.
But he doesn't really call out the other sucker MCs. You know, he mostly just shouts out the people that he likes. But then there was I don't know if I can't even remember right now, but on one of the songs on Genius lyrics, if it said like Sucker, like Sucker's MC was highlighted, so you can read the annotation.
Yeah.
And on the annotation under Sucker MC was Run DMC.
Ah, well,
like a 7-inch of Run DMC, and I thought that was pretty funny.
Well, that's because that's I'm the king of rock. There is none higher. You sucker MCs can call me sire. That's like they essentially almost invented like the sucker MCs line.
I liked it though. I liked it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then otherwise, I mean, the song is, I think it's one of the catchiest things on the record, considering it doesn't have like a overly pop. I mean, it's not a pop melody or a pop chorus, but it's really, really good. And this is one of those songs too where they use the starting and stopping of the loop of whatever, like the Rhodes piano in this specific song. They started and stop it during the verses, so there's like a break in it before coming back in, and it's just so subtle and it just sounds so nice. And then there's even a part where like we were talking about earlier, where everything stops, and then once that first bass drum hits back in, that's when I think Fife comes back in and just kind of lays it down perfectly in time and on beat. It's fantastic.
This is
it's
a good song. This is a fucking fantastic song.
I mean, let's get into the lyrics real quick. I mean, we already touched upon it a bit, and then we'll play. I want to play it real quick, but I mean, really, they both talk about the same things, but Q is, in his verse, he's a little bit more subtle about it, but they're really just talking about how they're pretty much the biggest in the game, and people just don't understand the underground scene like they should. And in the end, Q challenges people to come and step up to him, so he could just destroy them, which I like a lot.
It's always like I mean, the brief. I didn't watch the doc, the whatever doc it was called, based on the beats and rhymes or whatever. I was meaning to, and I forgot. But I've always felt like Tribe is a group that knows they're better than everybody else, but would never like dismiss someone for wanting to be better and like asking for help. Like they would never turn their back on somebody if somebody wanted to be a better rapper, if somebody wanted to be a better member of society. I feel like Tribe, and just like the Native Tongues and like Jungle Brothers and De La Soul, they all seem so willing to help other hip hoppers, and even like Queen Latifah and like anybody from the Native Tongues era, and just a lot of different people in hip hop community are that type of person to just want to build a better future for like the next generation. And Tribe is like one of those groups. Whereas I think like some of the gangster rap guys like Dr. Dre and pretty much anybody from Death Row, I don't think I like that at all. No. I think viewed competition as such, as competition, and we need to eliminate competition rather than build each other up to build something better.
Yeah, that's very, very true. I mean, gangster rap is not welcoming at all. Unless you've already been ingrained into that scene, like you're not going to be accepted.
Yeah, so, but like it's also too with like bars and restaurants. I mean, it's just like the bar I work at. It's like we should be networking with the coffee shop in the same parking lot and doing like a coffee and beer thing. I don't know. Let's build each other up, because it's so easy for Buffalo Wild Wings to come in and take us all out. So why not network with each other and say, we close at 9:00, but the bar across the street doesn't close till 2:00. And if you bring this coupon over, you get fucking a free beer or something. And this is just kind of like the thought that we don't have maybe as Americans or just as where we live at now in this time and age where we don't want to build each other up because the competition is such that we need to eliminate competition rather than help each other be
That's
bigger,
true, no?
be better.
That's a very, very good point. That's American society to a T. Absolutely. Unless you're in a small community. That's just how it is.
Yeah, clap
All
your
right.
hands. Clap your hands.
So here we go. Here's a bit of Clap Your Hands from A Tribe Called Quest. There you go. Clap your hands from A Tribe Called Quest. All right. So we have anything left on this one, or do you want to get to your 2B? What do you think?
We already did my 2B.
Oh wait,
Or not
what was
2B.
your 2B? What was your 2B again?
Was a word tour.
Oh, a word tour. That's right. That's right.
I fucking hate that phrase.
I know. It's the worst.
It
It's
sounds
the
like we're
fucking
throwing in a
worst.
W somewhere in the tour part. The tour. You know what I mean? Like
It's true.
TWOROUR. Tour.
Tour.
Just sounds weird. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. It's very dumb.
Yeah.
All right.
What is your 2B?
My 2B is the next song. Oh my God. Where does it sit for you?
That's a 5B.
Ah,
That is a 5B.
you are the worst.
5B?
worst.
What are you talking about? We're only 3Bs away.
Oh shit! So this one has Busta Rhymes. He's the one who does the oh my God, yes.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It's oh my God. Oh my God. It's Busta. It's so stupid, but he's so recognizable. I absolutely love it. This was a single too, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think their third or fourth single.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. And then there's a lot of jazz stuff here. I mean, I do really love that double bass stand up bass loop that they use. It's so kind of, it's not busy sounding, but it's just, I love that sound. I love that stand up bass sound, especially in hip hop. I think it sounds so cool. It really gives a song more depth than just a normal, I guess, electric bass sound. I don't even know what I'm trying to say here.
No,
I just think this is just a great throwback.
Dude,
Great
it's
throwback.
fucking squirrely. But it's funny because the intro, it's like the intro makes me laugh because that's the sound you make when you do like little karate chop noise when you're being like an idiot. I mean, I don't know how often you do these like karate chop noises, but like I do them all the time. Like that's what it sounds like, and it's so stupid. I love it. And dude, Busta Rhymes is a guy that you like. If you're our age, you know who Busta Rhymes is, but you don't realize what a prolific and really, really good rapping career he has had, because you only think of him just as like, oh, Busta Rhymes, can he rap fast and he's really good at what he does, right? Yeah, but like you don't really like know how great he is, but he's fucking fantastic. He is, like I said, he's Busta Rhymes is for sure like a top 10 rapper of all time, maybe top 15 if I had to really get into it, but for sure 15 or 10. The guy's fantastic.
I would agree.
And it's dude, he got his like Chuck D gave him the name Busta Rhymes. You know, so like
I didn't know that.
If Chuck D is like, it's like saying, hey, dude, you're so dope that I'm gonna give you a fucking nickname like that. You made it.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
And yeah, it's like Busta Rhymes comes in with the oh my God thing, and all he says is the oh my God. And it's become like this iconic chorus in hip hop history to where everybody fucking knows, oh my God, and it's so stupid, but it's so good. Why is it so good?
I think even Tribe reused it, or maybe Busta used it
on this
for one of his
album. They
songs.
reused it.
Did they Oh yeah, they did.
They
at the
do it
very end.
again. Yeah.
at the very end. Yeah.
Because it was so goddamn
Yeah.
good, they used it again. And it's just
it's fantastic.
He is great. But let's get back to Fife and the other guy, Q.
Yeah, Q. I do like that they I do like when they share a verse together. It's always a good segue between the two of them. I mean, Fife gets Q gets the first and third verse, and then they share the second verse, and I think it's just, like I said, I like Q's kind of smooth delivery, and it's really nice when Fife and Q play off of each other in that second verse. I think it's really, really good, and it goes along with kind of as kind of chaotic as Busta is in the hook. the song itself is kind of a laid back kind of rhythm. It's not punching you in the face like some of the drum beats and parts of some other Tribe songs are. And I really like that. There's a lot of nuance on here, and even the crackle of the vinyl, it's as silly as it sounds and everything like that. It's a really nice nuance to the entire song. But
I will also say that in my vinyl, now that we're collecting, now that we're learning more about it, I don't want any crackle on my vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you also don't want any of it. That's not what you're supposed to hear when people say, "Oh, I like the vinyl sound because I like the crackles and the pop." No, that's not what. That's not what the musician wants you to hear. That's just people didn't take care of their fucking vinyl. But I will say, my God, when they so taking it back a little bit to Low End Theory, when they were digging in crates and making beats, they worked hard to get rid of the crackle. They worked hard to get rid of the pops to make like a clean sounding record. This one, they did like the opposite. They said, fuck it. Whatever you find, if it sounds like shit, just play it anyway. And there are some tracks on here that are very, very crackly, like Midnight for one, like the 6th track. That's very, very crackly. But I love that they do like the crackly vinyl thing on here. It's nostalgic kind of for a different reason. It makes it sound kind of like old and authentic. It makes it sound more real. It makes it sound like it's I don't know what I'm trying to say here. It sounds great. I love it.
It kind of fills in the gaps for any sort of quiet part. It's a nice filler. That's really what it is. It's a filler to everything else, which we don't hear a lot of. What do you got lyrically on this one?
Well, I just scrolled up here, so I got.
Oh, you did? Okay, that's fine. I mean, do you want to play the song, or should we even play the song? I don't know. What do you think?
Why can I not? There we go. Yeah. Oh no. So no. If you got something to say. I don't know. What do you want?
No. What do you got?
So I like when Five says that he says he likes his beats hard, like 2-day-old shit.
I wrote that down too.
Dude, it's so fucking stupid because what he's saying is he likes his shit stale. He likes his beats stale, right? But he didn't want to say stale, but we all know that you leave bread out for 2 days, it's going to be hard as a fucking rock. But when you say the word stale, that's a different kind of a concept of what you're describing. When you say that you're leaving your shit out, like, okay, I know what you're talking about. You're saying that you like your stuff hard, like 2-day-old bread. I get it. But he's very particular not to use the word stale, which is just it's such a fine line to walk. Because if you use the word stale, you've lost all credibility.
That's
all
true.
credibility.
Yeah.
But using this idiom as I like my shit like 2 days old, like, God damn, I fucking love that so much because it's flirting with disaster. It really is. And I love it.
I wrote that exact fucking lyric.
It's so good.
It really is,
Dude, and Five drops in so hard on this only because he's set up by Mark. He's set up by Q in that first verse. Five drops in hard because Q sets him up so great. And he comes in hard, he comes in right away, and it's aggressive and it's fantastic.
It truly is. Truly a great song. So here's a little bit of Clap Your Hands from Tribe Called Quest. I mean, oh my God! Why did you clap your hands?
Oh,
I meant,
cool.
Oh my God.
So we're still here. That's fun.
Here's Oh My God from A Tribe Called Quest. There you go. Oh My God from A Tribe Called Quest. Truly a banger. Truly a
banger. 5-banger, sure.
2B. But so then what's your 3B then?
I'm scrolling here. Oh, it's the 5th track, Sucka Ninja. That's my 3B.
That song is my that's my 3B as well. No, it's my 4B. I'm sorry. It's my 4B.
This is interesting because I love the beat here. There's a lot of that kind of offbeat synth sound, and it's got a super squirrely bass line.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool because like they don't use the N-word that often in their first couple records. They don't drop it as much as like gangster rap did in the early days. They just don't. And this is cool because it kind of gets into like a history lesson of the origin of the word, but more so just on cues like thoughts on the word. And I don't think he fully embraces using the word, but he recognizes the word's impact on like not just like the upper class black community, but as also like the black youth community. And it's like he's stuck in this like the middle of two different generations, and he's trying to get a little deeper on the word itself, but also while throwing the word out constantly.
Yeah, he uses it a lot.
Which is so fucking cool. It's just like we're talking about one thing, and whether or not we should even be using that word while using that word constantly.
Yeah,
I think it's genius. I think that it's like a subtle. I don't know. It's subtle, but it's not subtle. It's subtle because you don't realize that it's even happening until it's already, six of that word deep. And by the word, it's not ninja. We here at AskNightRadio.com, we replaced the N word with ninja.
With ninja, yeah.
It's whatever. But
Yeah,
damn,
I
it's a
agree.
banger of a song.
It is, and from kind of what I agree with you lyrically on this one, and it's kind of him also talking about how like the youth, the younger generation, is trying to reclaim that word and trying to make it something to where it's not as derogatory to use for them, because it was, like you said, it was kind of a history lesson. It was a derogatory term from the white people using it towards African American, black people, whatever, and this is them reclaiming that and just kind of making it their own, and just kind of making I don't want to say making an identity for it, but just kind of lessening the impact of the actual word amongst themselves. If that makes any sense, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I get, and I understand what you're saying. Like Q-Tip is stuck in the middle. He's part of the old guard, but he's still young enough to relate to the younger people of the generation. So I thought it was a really well done song, and I have really no issues with it. And I mean, musically too, that bass line, it's super fucking busy and squirrely, like you said.
It's so good.
and the way that the Rhodes piano, I guess it's just a Rhodes piano, I don't know, whatever sample he's using, it just accompanies the bass line so perfect, and it just they go hand in hand so well. And it musically, I think it's just an amazing song. The way he cut it up and looped it and all that shit. And then at the end, Ali Shaheed, he fucking rips it up scratching, and like he has these like moments, like especially towards the end of songs, where they just kind of like let him do his thing and just kind of scratch and kind of solo out the song, and that's essentially what this one is too.
Yeah, a lot of like the outros to these songs are just very, very, almost like you're changing a radio station, and like someone's coming out with a disclaimer, especially in the first half of the album, where the outros. Yeah. There's a lot of facts being thrown out and a lot of topics being talked about, and this is
it's like what was her name? Janet. I don't remember her name, but she was the one that they got to do the kind of the interludes, if you want to call them interludes. But she was like a secretary from Jive Records, and then they recorded her voice saying these things, but then they computerized it and made it sound robotic to like kind of segue between certain songs and to kind of round out the end of the record.
Yeah.
It was cool. Should we play a little bit of this song?
Yeah, dude, fucking play a little bit of it.
Let's do it. So
here
it is from, I'm not going to say it, but here is this song from A Tribe Called Quest. And it's wild how much they drop that word. It really is. I don't even think songs, I mean, really not many hip hop songs drop that word that often in a single song. But
and it's if anything else, it just kind of opens the door to like a conversation to be had about said word and whether or not
definitely.
Who should be using it, when they should be using it. And it's just cool because he kind of dances around the fact that he kind of feels uncomfortable using it, but then like drops it a lot, and it's off-putting because they don't do it that often. They had not done it that often. Here
it's
and
like
there,
almost
most
every line in this song has that word in it.
And it's not modulated. It's not behind any kind of distortion. It's right there. You hear it. you know what's happening, and the name of the track, it's right fucking there. And I think that's good stuff, man. That's good stuff right there.
And I kind of hearing it back right now too, that bass line, it reminds me actually a lot of like Limp Bizkit. Something Sam Rivers would have done on a Limp Bizkit song to kind of groove up a song. It's very, very reminiscent, I feel, of that. But obviously this is a sample, but yeah, it reminded me a lot of Limp Bizkit for whatever that's worth.
Well, that's worth a lot because Limp Bizkit is great.
Yeah, Sam Rivers, fucking amazing bass player.
Oh, Fred Durst, amazing frontman.
Yeah. Great frontman. Just a great band.
The song reminds me of two. Mos Def did a song, or a song from one of his albums. It was called like Mr. Ninja, and he says it. He like constantly drops that word too, like throughout the entire track, and it's I don't know how far you've got into Mos Def.
Barely at all.
But fuck me, dude, that guy's one of the greats too. Like good God, that guy is such a great songwriter, and they're in the hip hop community.
Yeah. I mean, the bit I've heard of from Black Star, I really, really liked. But, I mean, outside of that, I haven't heard a lot of Mos Def.
Dude, Black, so like Black, I mean, I'll write you a list of things you should listen to, but Black on Both Sides is the one that you should also listen to.
There's so much hip hop like that we need to fucking do. You know, we got Nas, we got Mobb Deep, we got Mos Def, we have, earlier throwing it back to Africa Bambaataa, even though he's canceled, we still should do an episode on him. There's so many artists and groups that need to be talked about, or that we should do on the pod eventually.
It's the hip hop stuff, dude. Like Mos Def, I mean Murs. It's another guy that's
yeah. I would like to do Murs. Yeah.
Unfucking real, and it's I don't know. God, I love this. It's so cool.
Yeah, I can't believe how much of a hip hop man I've become in the last 2 years.
I think, like, honestly too, because hip hop is still kind of looked down upon in mainstream media, because it really is, and unless you're like one of the big names. And like Kanye is arguably like the biggest name in hip hop, but the dude is just like he's so off the charts. I don't know what the fuck is going on with him.
He's very hit or miss.
But like hip hop is so still looked down upon that it's become like this almost counterculture movement for the past 40 years, and so you can't help but not like root for it, like you can't help but not like it because it's still being shit on by executives and the record labels, and
you're right.
It's good stuff.
You're right.
It's like the punk, the early punk music of today's generation, I guess.
All right. So then that was your 3B, right?
Yeah, 3B.
Okay, so my 3B is 8 Million Stories.
8 million stories, baby.
8 Million Stories. This one, I mean, like Sucka Ninja was primarily, that was like a Q-Tip song. This one is a Five Dog song. Q-Tip is only in like the kind of weird outro as it kind of fades out at the end of the song. But yeah, this is a Five Dog song, and I was very pleasantly surprised by this one, like kind of reading more about it and kind of breaking it down, because like I said, I've listened to this record a lot, but I've never dove super deep into it until this week, and I really liked his vocal delivery on this one. He has that, what am I trying to say here? Every line, he has that momentary pause before moving on to the next line, but it's the same duration of time between every movement, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like I've never heard any rapper do that the way that Five Dog does this. Like it's so unbelievably consistent and so unbelievably on time that I was actually kind of blown away by this song. How he delivered this song vocally. It was crazy. It was crazy good.
You can date back, or you can go back to Can I Kick It Again and listen to the nuance in the way Fife throws out words. And in one particular part too, when he talks about in Can I Kick It, he says, "Follow us for the funky behavior, make a note with the check your hair." So he's trying to rhyme with like where, like behavior, savior, flavor. but he's saying like hair, like your hair on top of your head.
Yeah.
But the way he says it, he says check your hair, and it's so forced.
Like some Outcast shit. Yeah.
It is. It's so fucking forced, and you think like, I don't know, like the way he delivers it though. It's honest. It's him. It's iconic. But if anyone did it today, it'd be like you're cheesing out. Like you're copping out. You're taking the easy route. But
even with like what you're saying on Can I Kick It, it's not through the entire song. Like this song, after every line of lyrics, there's a very significant pause before moving on the entire fucking time.
Dude, Fife, that like this is why I love Fife.
It was so cool.
I'm gonna go back again to Can I Kick It? His entire verse is based on like layers, and he's like this first verse is to my tribe that flows in layers, say your conveyor, Mr. Dinkins be my mayor. To the very, very end, when he doesn't even try to rhyme, he says, as you inhale like a breath of fresh air. And he could have said air, right? He could have said that and like drawn out that stupid rhyme. But he says, as you inhale like a breath of fresh air, but he cuts off air quicker than it should have been. You like the repetition of the rhyming, you think he is going to say air, and then he says air, and he cuts it off super quick. He doesn't say air, he says air, and it's done. And so you're left hanging for like that couple milliseconds, and just like, wow, how did this just happen? How did he rhyme air without actually rhyming air, without even really fucking prolonging the word air?
Yeah,
like that's from day one. That's from Can I Kick It? And that's why I think that Can I Kick It is their best song. That's a top 3 hip hop song of all time, to be honest.
It is really fucking good.
And it's like Fife Dog is so good at making you love him like immediately, because he has just a molasses way spilling out of his mouth about his rhyming. But he also throws out these little nuances where every time you listen to him rap, it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And this is 8 Million Stories. This is one of them. This is a Fife song, like you said. And so also, too, he mentions KB Toys. Have you heard of KB Toys in the past 15 fucking years?
I mean, not since they shut down.
That was funny.
I used to go to KB Toys, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I used to go.
Dude, I had totally forgotten about KB Toys. I thought that was so fucking funny.
Like outside of Toys R Us, KB Toys was the place to go.
That was the shit. That was that was the place you go to get really, really good stuff. I fucking completely forgot about KB Toys until this week, and that was funny for me. That was good times. But yeah, dude, 8 Million Stories. I thought this was about recognizing that you're in a city. Let's say you're in New York. Everybody in New York has their own problems. Everyone's going through their own shit. Everyone's got their own story. This is Fife's story, and that's what it's presented as.
I like it too, and this is it's him just talking about having a really bad day, and how his day doesn't amount to anything. It's not any different than anybody else who has a bad day. Any average person who has a bad day, he's just essentially this song is just him venting the entire time. You know, talking about his nephew up in the KB Toys thing, talking about like worrying about how if, certain samples are going to get, if they're going to be able to use certain samples on the record, if they're going to do this, that, it's just straight up a bad day, and his anxiety and his just the shittiness of a negative day. And I thought it was very kind of vulnerable too for a hip hop guy to throw out something like this. I mean, it's a little bit self-deprecating, but it's still also very vulnerable. Yeah. Where a lot of hip hop, especially gangster rap, would never do this kind of shit. And if they did, they would come back with like, I did this, and then they would come back with like, I did something great or something, provocative or whatever. But
that's also kind of a praise for Tribe, is they do like use the word bitches as referring to like the female derogatory term bitches, but Fife also calls himself a hoe. Like he even says in another song, like he says, hey, some girl called me a hoe. So he's not. They do use derogatory terms that have not aged well, but they're also not afraid to like call themselves out in, like you said, a self-deprecating way. They're humble, they're human, and it's it makes it more endearing.
So I'm gonna play a little bit of 8 Million Stories just so we can hear, Five Dog, because this song is really, really good. So here it is from A Tribe Called Quest. There you go. 8 Million Stories from A Tribe Called Quest. All right. So where does that leave us? Your 4B, right?
That is my 4B. 8 Million Stories.
Oh, that is. Oh boy. So, fuck man. How many more songs do we have left?
We got a few. I mean, there's we can just at this point we can just get into things that we really want to talk about and not have to unpack the entirety of the song.
Okay. I think we already talked about my 4B. Yeah, Second Ninja was my 4B. So then your 5B. Yeah, I guess you're right. We can just talk about whatever.
Yeah.
Any highlights. You're right.
Like the song Midnight. Midnight's my 7B. We don't have to play it, but this is the one that the loop is like crazy good. This is from the psychedelic Love Shack. That's a song by Albino Gorilla, and I listen to this like normally when we do these albums, I listen to the song that it's derived from if I really, really like the track. And this one was just like aggressively eclectic. It's a super dope fucking like early 70s funk band. Think like Funkadelic, but just a little bit more psychedelic. Yeah. And it's a cool name for a band, Albino Gorilla. It's a cool really cover art because it's not it's a black drop with an albino gorilla on the front. It's so ugly and so dumb. And I think that was the only album they released. But it's something I'm going to look for now that we're record shopping. And if I ever see this, I swear to God, I'm going to buy it.
Wait, what year was it from?
1970.
That's insane. Oh, yeah, I just looked it up right now on Discord.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that is a really fucking cool cover.
It is so cool, right?
That is so really rad.
It's so basic. Like, it's everything you would expect from, like, an albino gorilla cover. It is just nothing else more than just that. But damn, it's cool.
When would you ever see this in the wild?
See, like, that's the thing I was thinking about, too. Like, even if I ever saw this in the wild, this is such a unique and cool-looking cover. I just feel like I would innately pick it up and be like, what the fuck is this? Because it's that cool. So I don't think I've ever seen it in the wild. Because you're probably the same way. Like, if you saw this in the wild before you knew about it today, you would still pick it up. What the fuck is this?
I would for sure pull it out and look at it, look at the back.
You would investigate. Yeah.
I would look it up and see like what I would need a little bit more information on it, but I've never come across this.
I don't think I have either.
And then looking at on Discogs real quick, the cheapest copy there's only like 3 copies here in the States that ship from the States, and they're like between $17 and like $24.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's not bad at all, but I don't think this is something we'd really find in the wild. But I also don't really go through like the soul section a lot or funk section at all. I mean, so I don't actively go through that kind of section.
Most places out here don't even have that section. It's just it's like soul, funk, R&B. It's all in one, all encompassing.
Yeah, that's how it is here too.
Yeah, it's just not like a really popular genre for vinyl, I would feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a dope song. Keep It Rolling. Keep It Rolling. I wanted to mention this one because ICP, Insane Clown Posse, has a song called Chop Chop. Oh, and the hook to that song is they say swing, 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 chop, 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 swing, 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 chop, chop, chop.
Oh, and I know that song.
I know you do because Renee loves that song. I actually think it's a really good song. And as much as like people make fun of ICP they know their shit. ICP knows their shit in hip hop. They are smart dudes. They know how to make pretty goddamn good songs. And so I think it's a little too similar to this one to be a coincidence. So I think, and I mean, there's not a lot written about ICP because nobody wants to write anything about ICP because, it's ICP. Let's pretend they're fucking the worst thing ever. But I think this may be like an homage to this track. And I like that idea.
To the Tribe track or to the Roy Ayers?
No, to the Tribe track, the swing, 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 chop, chop, chop. Because the way they say it sounds like how like Fife is saying or whoever's saying it in the song. It sounds very similar.
You're talking about okay. But you're talking about the song "Keep It Rolling," right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, I get what you're saying now.
ICP's not that bad. They're not as bad as they're made fun of to be. They're really
That's
not.
true. That is very true. I've only really kind of heard them in the last maybe couple years, and they're not great or very good, but
No.
dude, they're not even as bad as Nickelback. And even
No,
Nickelback's not as bad.
That's silly boy talk.
Even Nickelback's not as bad as everyone, says. I mean, they're not. I mean, they're pretty bad, but they're not just like, atrocious.
Nickelback's pretty atrocious.
Kinda, but you could still get through it.
Oh,
You can still get through it. Come on, man.
I guess. I like how Fife sings the Barney song on "Keep It Rollin'." I love you, you love me. Just straight up fucking sings that theme song. So stupid.
So dumb.
And this is like the third time he's mentioned Barney because he talks about on 8 Million Stories how his like brother wants like a Barney toy, but it's sold out and he can't get it. His brother's crying. It pisses him off. So like there's a lot of Barney talk on this album that it's fucking weird. And then I like how he also mentions Jackie Gleason, and that's something that I never would have. That would never resonate with me in any way had it not been for like us collecting vinyl and getting into Jackie Gleason for a very brief moment. But now that he's mentioned Jackie Gleason, that was cool because he says like his style is fat like Jackie Gleason. Obviously like a double entendre of saying PHAT like it's fly, but then also saying that Jackie Gleason, yes, he was fat. I think that was really cool. I like that because I got it. Like, I was like, yes, I got that.
Yeah. And then on this particular song, the sample they use, the main sample is from a song called "Feel Like Making Love" from Roy Ayers from 1974. And I do have one Roy Ayers record, and it's really fucking good. Oof. And this song, "Feel Like Making Love," it's a fucking banger. Did you listen to this song?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God, dude. It is so good. It has the vibraphone. It has the stuff that sucks me in, but it's you just got to listen to it, man. It I would play it right now, but you haven't heard it, so we can't really talk about it after I play it. But yeah, go check that one out. Roy Ayers, and then the song "Feel Like Making Love," the song that was sampled in this particular Tribe song.
Honestly, I
really
saw
good.
"Feel Like Making Love" and I was like, okay,
You
Bad
thought,
Company.
Bad
I don't
Company.
want to hear any of that shit.
No, this
anyway.
is like 1,000 times better than that song.
Oh, I hate that song.
The song's really fucking good though. So check it out.
Ayers.
All right, Outcast. All right, so that was keep it rolling.
Yeah.
That's my 8B, by the way. That is my 8B.
That's an okay song for me. I have some okay songs with this album.
Yeah, I not every song's a banger on here. That's the absolute truth.
That is the absolute truth.
Yeah. So I don't
lyrics
have any
to
bangers
go.
left on mine.
Lyrics to go. He mentions that his brother, or he says, my brother R. Kelly. That didn't age well. I thought that was funny.
I noticed that one too when I saw R. Kelly. That was the first thing I thought of. Was like, oof, yikes, this is not gonna end well.
I giggled on that one. That was funny. But yeah, that's about it for like the serious notes that I have that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, and I will say the latter half is a little bit weaker, especially after Keep It Rolling. The Chase Part 2, Lyrics to Go, and God Lives Through. I mean, they're good songs, but they're kind of like run of the mill. It's like, okay, I've heard this beat, I've heard just kind of this kind of generic bass line, and it's cool that they each have a verse and whatever, but this album's long. I mean, it really is.
It is.
So, I mean, you could easily cut this down to 11 or 12 tracks, and it could have been super fucking cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think this is a great record. But going through all my notes again, I mean, I have one more banger, and that's my 5B, and that's Electric Relaxation. This is like the smooth jam on this record. I mean, it's the stand. I think this is the first time the stand-up bass is kind of introduced, and just that jazz guitar loop is awesome. It's this cool play between the two of them, and Fife, he's doing his thing. It's more comical, a little self-deprecating, and then Q doing his thing too. It's a little bit more subtle, but it's just a good laid-back song, coming off of some some bangers for sure. So I like this one. I mean, I don't want to play it, but I don't know. That's all I got on this one. Do you have anything on Electric Relaxation?
No, I'm good.
You good? All right, so then let's wrap it up. Let's give our final thoughts and then give our rating of the record, because we do have our world famous rating system where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album but give it a shot, and 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard, a trash fire, some might say. So what are your final thoughts and your rating on A Tribe Called Quest's Midnight Marauders? Go.
So let me just preface this by saying I think this album is fantastic. However, it gets like this acclaim that I don't quite understand, because like the People's Instinctive and Low End Theory I think are better, and I think they're better in different ways. But I think this is just kind of like a rehash of their first two, but taking the best parts of their first two and making like a good third album, which is fine. Like that's great, but it's like doing it's like making a movie based off a book. Like you already got the source material. You can't fuck it up, really. So I don't understand like why this is in a lot of lists, this is like their best album. Like most, you just Google like Tribe best album, this one comes up as their best album. I just don't agree. I don't agree that it's their best album. It is their 4th best album, as I said earlier in the rankings. But it's still like really, really good. And like what does it even mean? Like this is their 4th best, greatest album of all time. Like who cares? You know what I mean? It's fucking fantastic. It's so good. Everybody's on top of their game, but it's not anything new that we haven't heard in bits and pieces. The best parts of this album, rapping wise, we've already heard from their first album. The best parts of this album, production wise, we heard from the Low End Theory. We're just now combining 2 different aspects of 2 different albums into one cyborg of a great album. And I love it. And like, you're right. This is like when I'm on a hip hop kick, there are 2 albums in my collection that I go back to. Like if I'm going to spend a day listening to hip hop, I have a decent amount of hip hop in my collection now. There are 2 albums that I will for sure listen to on any given day of listening to hip hop all day. This is one of them, and the other one's The Far Side. Like those 2 albums are just, they're so fucking easy to jump into. They're so easy to listen to. They don't require a lot of thinking if you don't want to, but if you want to get into it, then you can get into it. And for very different reasons, The Far Side and this album are 2 albums that I can listen to 1,000 times and have the same experience at the end of it that I did the first time, because it's really good. This is really, really, really good stuff. The Far Side is perfect. This one's not perfect, but doesn't mean it's not good. And I don't know. I would do like, I think just based off of this week, I would probably give it higher before this week, but this week I'm gonna do 2.5.
That's it?
2.5. I have to. Because dude, Low End Theory and their first album is just mind-blowingly stupidly good.
I can't believe you gave this a 2.5. Oh, you're crazy for this one.
I know. I honestly don't understand why people think that this is like their best album, because it's 100% not. But go ahead and tell me, why do you think this is their best album? Go.
I don't. Okay, so Midnight Marauders, this one, like I said, this one could be interchanged between the first and second record. I'm so new to this, and because I've known this record the best. That's the only reason why it's number 1. But I think the first record might be their best too, and that's why I was so hesitant on doing Midnight Marauders. But I don't know. This is everything I love about this style of hip hop, conscious hip hop, old school hip hop. This is a great combination of it all. And I don't know, man. There's nothing I can really say that we didn't already talk about. I feel that Q-Tip is one of the top producers, hip hop producers of all time, and I'm totally confident saying that he's easily top 5. Up there with Dre, Kanye, LP. I don't know who else, but I mean, those are like the big.
Pharrell, Neptunes.
Oh, Pharrell, yeah, Neptune's Pharrell, yeah, of course. I'm just kind of like throwing things off the top of my head.
Q-Tip is fucking fantastic,
dude. He's what he created and pioneered is truly remarkable, and nothing but respect for him. And I am curious what his stuff does sound like outside of Tribe, but I don't think it could ever reach the levels that this record and the first two records ever achieved. With this one, I mean, I'm stoked and excited to get more into it, and I love this record. I think it's fantastic. I do need a better copy on vinyl because I used to have a copy, but then I ended up trading it to you for some reason. I don't remember what we traded, but you have it now. Yeah. And then my copy, the new copy I bought is cracked. So
it's cracked?
It's cracked. So the first song on each side does not play. So
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Where'd you buy it from? Did I buy it from you?
No. I got it from a local store here. So
take that shit. You should have taken that shit back.
We'll get into that later. But so I gotta buy a new copy.
Holy shit!
I know. First cracked record I've ever had. Never ever had a cracked record.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So with that being said, production wise, lyrically, vocal delivery, it's an amazing record, and I'm gonna have to give this a 2.75, maybe a 3. No, it's gonna be a 2.75 because
damn,
my rating will change. It's gonna change.
So Tribe has no perfect albums under your eyes.
You know what? Fuck, I'm gonna give this a 3.
You don't. I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm gonna give it a 3. You've done this.
Fine. What? I don't. What do you? I don't know. It's
you
fine.
know. You know what you did. This is a perfect 3. I don't do it often, but this is a perfect 3.
Okay.
So, Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauders. I give it a 3. You give it a measly 2.5 because you don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. We got anything else on this one?
That's it. That's all.
That's it. All right. Well, thank you all for listening to the podcast. Go to Apple Podcasts. Do your thing. Rate, review, and subscribe to us on there. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. We have all the Discord, all that bullshit. Hit us up if you want the stuff. But if you've listened to this far, you probably already know it. You're already a part of it. So I don't know. I got nothing else. And that's it. That's all. Enjoy. One.
Ooh, that was a loud clap.
I had a loud clap too. It's good.
You get in the pocket right there. You get that nice cupping of the hands. It was a good one.
Those are the best claps.
That was a good one.
Those are the ones that annoy people the most.
Just because it's just the right pitch to get right into your ears, right into your brain, and just flick your brain because it's so obnoxious.
That's the one I do when I play the clapping game too. I do those big thick ones too.
Because
I know people can hear
them. I know. Everybody knows. Man. Yeah.
Everybody knows. I love it. And then people look at me and they not even outside the clapping game. They just look at me and they laugh. They're like, "Why are you clapping so loud?"
Yeah. Why? First of all,
funny,
clapping in itself is so stupid. We show our pleasure by clapping. We make obnoxious noises, so that's annoying already. But to I don't know, to not go full frontal on it, then who cares? Why even clap if you're not going to do it? Don't clap.
Make it fun. I mean, I'm making it fun for myself.
Yeah.
Why not?
Stupid. If you're gonna clap. If you're gonna clap. If you're gonna clap. On the entire album, Q comes in and it's just like fucking butter. It is just. It's like when Tom comes in on "I Miss You." It's like Mark is great. It's fantastic. But dude, when Tom comes in, panties drop. When Q comes in here, panties drop.